This video will be controversial, but I fear necessary. Because if something doesn't change, this will only get worse. In the past 2 years, there has been a dramatic increase in the number of fatal dog attacks in the UK. Between 2001 and 2021, there were an average of 3.3 fatalities, with no single year above 6. But in 2022, 10 people were killed, including 4 children. This year is only halfway over, and there has already been 5 fatalities. This unprecedented rise is disproportionately attributable to one single breed. The American Bully XL, being behind 6 of the 10 killings in 2022, and 3 of the 5 in 2023 so far. Dog attacks on humans are also on the rise, increasing from 16,000 in 2018 to 22,000 in 2022, and hospitalizations have almost doubled in the last 15 years. These hospitalizations make for particularly difficult reading. 70% of injuries on children are to the head, nearly 1/3 of these require an overnight stay in hospital, and in the city of Liverpool in England, there are 4 to 7 dog bites a week, with most injuries to the face. One doctor recounts dealing with a, quote, near decapitation. London's Metropolitan Police are currently dealing with 1 dangerous dog incident per day. We don't have any reliable figures, unfortunately, on dog attacks, but there are good reasons to suspect that those are increasing as well. So why is there such a dramatic change? What the hell is going on? So why is it so controversial to say that a breed is more violent than any other? After all, we know that different dog breeds have different traits. Dogs, unlike humans, have been bred for various very specific traits. In fact, their traits, appearance and behaviour have been directed in a way comparable to how we've moulded plant and other animal life over thousands of years. Watermelons and bananas used to be mostly seed, now they're mostly not. Chickens were not always walking meat packets, and yet now they are. These weren't natural events, but the result of humans directing evolution through deliberate cultivation and breeding. Modern-day dogs are very clearly a result of this directed breeding. No one sensible would deny that we have moulded dogs for their particular traits, both physically and mentally. Dogs have deep underlying intuitions, desires, and drives that we have selected for over generations. All dog owners are aware of this. In fact, a key responsibility of dog ownership is knowing the breed and understanding that breed's likely traits. Not all individual dogs will show these breed-specific traits, but a great many will. For example, some dogs bred for hunting will try to hunt squirrels, rabbits, and small game. Some can be trained out of this, others can't. If you take a border collie raised in the middle of New York City and you drop it in a field filled with sheep, even if it's never seen a sheep before, it will start herding behavior. This is not controversial. Breeds have traits. We have literally bred them to have them. Pointers point. Retrievers retrieve. So what was the American Bully XL bred for? Considering this designation is only 30 years old, we have to look at the foundational breed, the American Pit Bull Terrier. I warn you before this starts that this is a story of human cruelty and the dark side of progress. Our story starts in England in the early 19th century, and the cruel sport of bull baiting, in which pit bulls were bred to be set on a bull and indiscriminately injure and maim it until the bull, or the dogs, died. After bull baiting had been banned, pit bulls were instead locked in a pen with a large number of rats to kill. This required more speed, so they were interbred with terriers to make the Pit Bull Terrier. Whilst England began clamping down on blood sports, the United States became a breeding ground for them. The Kip Burns Saloon in New York City ran an infamous dogfighting ring in which local politicians and influential people would gather to place bets on which dog could kill the other. These dogs were locked in a pit and forced to fight to the death. People began to breed pit bulls for greater and greater aggression. The most famous of these was John Colby. Colby can reasonably be considered as the father of the modern pit bull terrier, and would advertise his dogs as game dogs. Game is a description by dog fighters, meaning a dog's propensity to violence and its ability to take large amounts of pain and to keep on fighting. Colby's dogs are the root of a lot of American Staffordshire Terriers and American Pit Bull Terriers today. Unfortunately, the fighting roots are not confined to history. Dogfighting was legal in the United States until 1976. And in 2005, the laws were described as only just finally beginning to be enforced. In 2021, hundreds of pit bulls were seized that were being used and bred for fighting. And in the UK, there are several thousand dogfights a year. In truth, we have no idea how widespread this is, nor how many dogs are bred from fighting stock and sold to unsuspecting families. And in fact, John Colby's own nephew was killed at 2 years old by one of Colby's pit bulls. This awful reality manifests itself pretty clearly. Pit bulls and pit bull types are responsible for over 60% of deaths to dogs in the United States. Similar statistics can be found elsewhere. For instance, in the Netherlands, they're responsible for killing more dogs than any other breed. In 1991, pit bulls were banned in the United Kingdom, but the legal American Bully and American Bully XL derived chiefly from the American Pit Bull Terrier, with the XL variety being bred multiple times over to produce larger and larger sizes. It needs to be emphasized here that not every dog will show these traits, and crucially, none of this is the dog's fault. They were bred for this. Finally, it's often argued at this point that these dogs only attack people because of the abuse that they receive. But how true is this? Greyhounds used for racing face a truly horrendous life. They spend around 23 hours a day in cages, so small they can barely turn around. Between 2008 and 2018, there were 15,000 greyhound injuries from racing, with injuries as serious as broken legs, broken backs, head trauma, and even electrocution. And for dogs that are deemed not good enough for the race, they are simply discarded. But crucially, despite their size and speed, there is not a single case of a greyhound killing anyone that I can find in the UK or in the US. What explains this? Greyhounds were bred over thousands of years to hunt small game and to do so alongside hunters and their families. The one thing you don't want is your hunting dog turning on you. As such, they were bred for temperament and loyalty to humans and to focus solely on finding small game to chase and kill. It should be no surprise at all, therefore, that on the very rare occasions that a greyhound acts violently, it does so to rabbits, squirrels, cats, and sometimes small dogs. But despite the abuse, not humans. Pointers point, retrievers retrieve, fighting dogs fight, and they don't let go. Whilst not all dogs of a breed will show these characteristics, breed matters. To say it doesn't ignores our thousands of years of history with our number one companion, and it ignores the responsibility that we have to breed loyal, happy, and healthy dogs. We've walked together side by side for generations, but we shouldn't take that for granted. And we have a duty to pass that bond on, unsullied by violence, to the next generation.